Nick Bosa signed. You know what that means? You know what Nick Bosa signing means? You're right, Goo. You're absolutely right on the money. It means the focus goes back to Brock. Man. And at the same time, it also goes back on Kyle Shanahan. RG3, Robert Griffin III, played under Kyle Shanahan in Washington. He had I don't know how long this particular cut is, but listen to his assessment of Kyle Shanahan as a coach, as a head coach, and a coach that guides the quarterbacks.
All right. Kyle loves guys that are predictable, right? Look at even our team in Washington with myself and Kirk Cousins. Kirk was the guy that they knew, hey, if we draw this play up, he's going to go boom, 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 get it to where we think it should go. Whereas guys like myself, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys, there's a little more creativity to the game. Kyle's a control freak. Brock Purdy gives him a little bit of both worlds. He gives him the predictability of, hey, he's going to go through his reads and do this, but he can also create on the back end, and they just liked it more from Brock than they got it from Trey, and I understand that. And I'm hoping the best for Trey in Dallas or wherever his career takes him, but I do think that Kyle needs a guy that can kind of take the edge off for him and make some plays that aren't called in the playbook.
Wow. Control freak, Steiny. You use that. There it is right there. I don't think anybody's shocked, but I am a little concerned for the back end, as he talked about that from Brock Purdy. The things that we saw Brock get away with, what did we call it, skedaddle? I heard you the other day talking about when he would roll out and be able to get rid of the ball and, there wouldn't be a loss on the play. I'm wondering if things like that were on display in Brock Purdy's bag, I mean, it was a beautiful display. If that will get taken away, Steiny, and if he will have that uncanny ability to do what Robert's talking about, because tat-tat-tow, getting the ball where it's supposed to go, to me is why. And what do we call that? His process. He processes it fast. You got to give that to Brock Purdy. But that other stuff, I guess I'm excited to see if he can still keep that up to par.
925 on the Xfinity mobile text line. Kyle and Purdy are a perfect match because they see the game the same way, and Purdy has proven to be highly coachable. I'm going to take that a step further and say another reason that I think they're a good match is because of exactly where Purdy is in his career, meaning in his second year. He hasn't fully developed as a quarterback. He didn't develop any bad habits as a pro before Kyle took him under his wing. I just think Purdy is what Robert Griffin III told me there was that Kyle is demanding of quarterbacks, and the one thing that he loves about Purdy, and you compared Purdy to Stockton, John Stockton.
Yeah,
I like that comparison because Stockton wasn't fancy, but he just delivered the ball. You were open, boom, and I think that's what Purdy does that Kyle loves. He just gets the ball to the guys he's supposed to get it to on schedule and the way the play's called. And if it's not there, he definitely trusts Purdy more than any other quarterback who's been here since he's been here to scramble to make the right play without making a mistake. So I do think Purdy has a chance under Kyle to be really, really good for a while.
It's interesting because the way you say that, it sounds so easy, Steiny, and I know you're not clamoring to be Ron Jaworski, and this is no shade at Garoppolo or any other quarterback because I'm sitting back like, well, how hard can it be? So, Steiny, what would be your answer as to why Jimmy didn't see it the way Brock sees it?
Because Jimmy Garoppolo was more established than Brock Purdy, because Jimmy Garoppolo had skins on the wall by being able to say he played for Belichick and played behind Brady. So when Kyle Shanahan rolls his eyes at Jimmy Garoppolo for not making the play that he wanted him to make, Garoppolo's been around long enough to say, well, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. What do you want me to do? Or, there was a disconnect there. There's no doubt.
I had a better situation. Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, for example, Trey Lance. Why would Trey Lance would have worked out if he was good enough. Why? Because he was young and coachable. Garoppolo was already established in the league. So unless you're established in the league and Kyle already loves you, I don't think he wants anybody that's already been in the league,
And there you
with the
go.
exception of Kirk Cousins.
And that's why Brady nor Rodgers were brought here.
I mean, what Robert Griffin III said, he likes quarterbacks that are predictable. Predictable. I find
And that's for the good, too. I mean, Steiny, how many turnovers did Brock Purdy have? Like,
Not a
minimal,
lot.
none. Like, I can't even remember them. Even when he tried to throw one to Diggs in the playoff game against Dallas, it was dropped. It was just dudes just working with the good fortune. There's a good cloud over him. And speaking of which, Steiny, had I got back the day before Bosa signed, I was putting all my chips on the table. I was saying, I don't like how the Niners are handling their business and this cloud that is over the team, even after they lost Trey Lance or the trade. And now I forget who sings it. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. That's what it is now for the Niners.
If Robert Griffin III guru says, and he's right, let's assume he's right, and I think he is, Kyle Shanahan is a control freak. The mere fact that Robert Griffin III played under Shanahan and said Shanahan is a control freak, that eliminates a lot of quarterbacks
Oh, my God.
right off the bat that he could theoretically coach and
A
win
lot
with.
of good ones that go back.
Exactly.
Goats.
Exactly. So I was talking about this yesterday. It's like he's got to find the perfect quarterback of young enough to mold and young enough to be malleable, old enough to be mature and make
Great
the right
word.
decisions, experienced enough that he's seen. It's like he's
He's off to a good start. They're off to a good start.
Who?
Brock Purdy and the Kyle Shanahan relationship. I mean, right now,
7
Steiny.
years in.
No, I'm talking about Brock Purdy and Kyle.
Right, but Kyle's failed
Oh, yeah, but
to develop a relationship with a quarterback.
But it's like somebody that's
been
been
a positive
divorced
one.
5 times. All you're focused on is the 6th one.
Right, but you have to acknowledge that this guy's just the next one.
No, you keep saying that. No, I hear you.
Garoppolo was his guy until he wasn't. Trey Lance was his guy until he wasn't. I think Purdy fits this team, and maybe more importantly, Kyle Shanahan, more than any other coach. More than any other quarterback. I believe Purdy's got the best chance of any quarterback who's come through here to keep the job for more than a couple of years.
You know what? The 408 responded to you, and I'd like to hear your answer. It said, Steiny, isn't that part of the job?
What?
To be married to the quarterback and know when to say, you know what? We've gotten the best out of you. It's time to move on.
So then they'll never have a franchise quarterback if the head coach is as fickle as Shanahan appears to be.
Well, to be honest, Jimmy, that wasn't 2 years. You know, he was here and he got hurt a lot of it too. And I don't think they liked that hurt because they felt like they had a team, had he remained upright, that could have caused some more ruckus in the playoffs.
Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt as much as he did might have been a blessing in disguise because I don't think Shanahan wanted him anyway.
Damn.
I mean, I think
from the gate.
Well, I don't know about from the gate, but
when he found out this dude is all right.
At some point, I think he was coaching Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if it was in his second year, although he got hurt, or his third year, but at some point he lost faith in him.
And Jimmy knows that, and that's
versa.
why Jimmy's mad.
And vice versa.
No doubt about it. I would agree with that,
versa.
Johnny.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he might not be the greatest quarterback, but he has a right to look at Kyle Shanahan and question him.
Yeah.
He's worked for the greatest
That's fair.
of all time, maybe. Mark's in Vegas wants to talk about Kyle Shanahan.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I can understand. I read the article a couple of days ago with Mr. Control Man, but I think Kyle goes through quarterbacks pretty quick, and that's in his system. He tries to, when he has an athletic quarterback, he tries to add a few more plays to help that quarterback, and that's what he tried to do with Trey, but Jimmy didn't fall into that play system. I think Guru said the dink and dunk when he was speaking with somebody else, with another host. And I think Purdy falls in, as well as Sam, into that category. But how long are those quarterbacks going to last with the system? And my question to you is, Purdy going to last as far as the system.
No, that's
Because that's what RG was saying.
right.
You know, when he had Cousin and he was working with him in Washington, but when he said an athletic quarterback and he was saying Patrick, he was saying that he was not creative enough for him.
That's
and that's what my understanding is.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Jimmy Garoppolo was not creative enough for him. I think what RG3 is saying is, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo was not creative at all and not athletic enough for Shanahan. Patrick Mahomes is a bad one, but
he passed up on Mahomes and Watson.
Okay, Mahomes and Watson, he looked at and said they're too creative.
There we go. So he don't want that, Steiny.
I don't think he does either.
He wants Kirk Cousins. You drop back, and I know even on a bad day, you're going to look to get rid of that thing.
You know what you're going to do? You know what you're going to do? You're going to do what I tell you to do.
Damn.
Kyle Shanahan, this is how he coaches his quarterback. You got to do what I tell you to do. And if you don't do what I tell you to do, and it costs us, you're done. Like, I don't mean cut, but sorry. There was
but
something
Kyle
about,
never played that position.
That's what makes it so delicate.
You know what I'm like? Jimmy's probably like, who the F are you?
No doubt.
You never did it.
No doubt. No doubt.
Never thought of that.
So you got to respect Kyle's
no doubt. He's got it.
Knowledge of the game, but
play design.
But I
Jimmy's probably looking at him like, dude, you think it's that easy.